Okay, this is some guidance on using your A3 and running an A3 process at SM Jaleel. This is for the early stages, especially. You've got a pretty good idea what you think your problem space is. And the one on screen is raw materials. Yours could be whatever yours is. And early on, you want to break the problem down there in section 3 with kind of as much different causality as you can. So raw materials problems might be a combination of inventory problems, ordering problems, forecasting problems, sales order changes at the last minute, pest infestation that causes dumping, improper handling, improper FIFO, manufacturing doesn't send unused product back to the warehouse for storage at the end of a shift. Like, this could be a long list of causes. But then you have different people, or maybe a smaller group. You divide the work however, and you say, okay, how big is each of these causes, right? If the pest thing is only like 1% of the whole, that goes in the back burner, right? You want to go for the big ones first. Okay. You don't know what the big ones are because you haven't estimated them, right? And so as soon as you got the problem breakdown, you must demand evidence. That's what I did last week, where I say, email me an example of. So if somebody says to you, oh, they're changing the sales orders, your response is, awesome, prove it. Show me. Okay, show me last week's order and this week's order, and give me a sales order. And it's chubby 2-liter for Guyana grape, right? It's like, I need details. If you can't show me an example of an order being changed, then I don't believe that orders are being changed. Because if orders are being changed, it should not be hard to prove it. Okay? And once we have one example, then we can look for more examples. And when you've got one example, you can chase down a particular person and say, so why did we double the number of grape 2-liter chubbies to Guyana, right? Which is a much more specific question than why you changed the numbers, because that's too vague. And then each of these instances of sales orders changing or whatever the thing is may have a different cause behind it. Like, in Suriname, we boosted the export order because the competitor's plant caught fire and they can't make any product, and there's a vacuum in the market, and we can fill that if we can only get some product there. Okay, that's a great reason to be responsive to conditions. All right, you don't plan for that. Hopefully no one is setting these fires, God forbid. But and that probably happens once in a decade. Whereas other things might be happening on a weekly basis. And again, you're looking for proof. You're looking for how many of these, how big are these, how big is this contribution to the problem? And that's kind of where most folks are or about to be at this stage in the game. So your breakdown, you're looking for proof points, examples, emails, what's the sales order number that got changed, and it got changed from what to what? Prove to me this is happening. And now we can go and do a root. What's the cause behind the cause? Okay, raw materials has a problem because this changed. Why did it change? Well, because so-and-so did it. Why did they do it? And really drill down. And I will help you with all that. Okay. And you always want to be looking 80-20, right? Yeah. If I've got one cause is 80% of it and everything else together makes up the remaining 20%, go for the 80. Go for the big hit. Find the big thing that causes most of the problem and address it. And you can let the other stuff sit on the back burner or be a slower to develop analysis. Okay. So that should keep you busy for a few weeks.
Well, I was not going to say that. Listening to you speaking, I know some ideas just popping into my head to understand what I need to do now. And basically, after clarifying the problem, it might be a list of problems related to raw materials. And then from that, I will then need to do an investigation to see, okay, I have a template already existing, by the way, with a list of causes in terms of cost breakdown that is impacting the department. And then I could use that for, let's say, for example, the past 6 months to see what were the biggest contributors to cost related to the raw material department. Because right now, I don't have any data related to sales order entries being changed. And that was just based on, so that's why I wanted to tell you, I wasn't so sure about the problem because
Right.
it was based on, people saying that this is the problem rather than basing it on data.
It's right. It's rumor until it's proved.
So I'm